Welcome to the Everybody. I know this is my review of the week. So let's talk.
Yo, what up? I'm Joey. I'm his little baby brother. That we just finished the finale of Hawkeye, and my brain cannot compute. Is my treated Clint like he was
Something to it called Hawkeye-What.
It's the Kate Bishop show. She's in a scene. They blow up a van, which would have killed people, and not have a reaction to that.
I don't know, man. It's just poorly written.
It's poorly written. It's the Christmas is not a background. The Christmas is the front. It's a Christmas show with the Marvel background, not a Marvel show with the Christmas. It doesn't make sense. Things don't follow like A to Z.
They don't prove.
No, it's like, oh, we need this plot to happen, so let's just throw this character in. Like, spoiler, but Yelena's in it, and it doesn't feel like she should be in the show. It just feels like, oh, we had at the end of Black Widow that incredible sense in the show. She's just there because they had an incredible scene.
You know what? Without Black Widow, I would actually like the Yelena character.
So spoilers a little bit for Black Widow, but in that movie, Yelena is told. She says, "I've never made a choice for myself before I got the weird anti-brainwashing juice thing." No. But then she acts like a character that's grown up in this show when she just talks to Kate Bishop like she's just another person, not like she's an assassin on a mission. It makes no sense. It follows no progression. It makes no freaking sense.
We get to the villains in the second. No.
The villains. What do you even say about the villains? Like the Tracksuit Mafia. What kind of title is that of a villain? Our main villain is called the Tracksuit Mafia.
Like I was watching Johnny Bravo.
I wasn't that. Yes, that's exactly what that feels like. It feels like It feels like some early morning cartoon, but even less consistent.
Yeah.
Like I don't like Kate. Okay, I know. I know I mentioned already, but she's some rich girl that's never had any real problems, who somehow lucked her way into an auction that is a black market auction that's selling Ronin stuff and other weird auction that she just walks her way into because she's dressed like a waiter and she grabbed a champagne tray, I think.
White privilege.
Yeah, white privilege. Literally white privilege. This character makes no sense. And the Tracksuit Mafia just shows up blowing things away. And then they talk about what they want exactly in that moment. They're like, we got 10 minutes to find the watch. Like, who does that? What villain says what they're doing? I know this is jumping all over the place. It's scattered brain moment. But what is up with shows and snipers with having a red dot? Why does every show put a sniper with a red dot? If you're an assassin, you don't want people to see you. You want them to not expect you. So why would you put a red dot sight that shows, I'm about to shoot you. Here we go. 3, 2. Oh, they moved away. Oh my God. No, it follows. It doesn't follow A to Z. It's like A, F, Y, P, and it's like, okay, but how did we get here? Like, how did these moments exist? It literally skips harsh.
Although sometimes I did like, well, this was the
Hawkeye stuff.
Yeah,
Get home. Everything that was just Hawkeye was actually good.
Yeah, I read the so much
Hawkeye. There's so many things you can do with Hawkeye. I mean, we have a 5-year jump between him being Hawkeye with Ronin somewhere in there and being back to being Hawkeye. There's so many things they could have done with this show that involved that 5-year gap, that like after the Ronin stuff. And it's kind of after Ronin, but it's like it doesn't feel like the Ronin things actually mattered, minus like Echo, which it felt like it's like when the shows mention the blip. It's like, oh, I'm curious now where they're gonna go with it, and then they don't, and then most of the time they don't do anything. Echo is the same way. It's like, oh, they mentioned Ronin's past. Oh, they mentioned his past. Where are they gonna go with this? How are they gonna justify what he did? How are they gonna make him the villain in someone else's story?
I'm gonna say this now. I know what's in that Echo too.
Yeah, neither am I. When she first showed up, she was this super badass and like doing all this stuff. Oh, looks like we're losing connection. Good old YouTube. But she's doing all these things, and it's like you feel like, okay, she's gonna be formidable, and then the next like 3 episodes, she's just kind of in the background, where like it should have been resolved in her own show. I don't care what comes after. I don't care what comes after for her anymore.
Or are they going to do a pickle?
And then, so I know we already said spoilers, but spoilers, Kingpin's in it, and the ending for her is her killing Kingpin for Kingpin killing her father. Which
Kingpin actually dead, because if we didn't see it,
I hate that. I hate that Game of Thrones type. If you didn't see it, it didn't. They're not actually dead.
But you heard the gunshot.
We heard. No, we didn't hear a gunshot. We heard a boom.
Yeah.
Not officially a gunshot, but oh yeah, Kingpin. Just I know we're scatterbrained. Why did they bring back Vincent D'Onofrio to have him do nothing? See, episode 5 ends with him like, oh my God, there's Kingpin. Episode 6, I think there's 5 scenes with him total, and most of them they're done.
Because Marvel can use that right? And that's a Kingpin. Because they put on that.
Yeah, but they could have done something though. They could have at least done. They could have made him intimidating. He felt like a whiny villain in TV universe.
That was Punisher.
The Punisher fight.
Yeah.
All of his scenes, all of Kingpin scenes in the Netflix series are wonderful. Him in this series though is so pathetic. He gets beat by Kate with trick arrows because he's too stupid to realize that the trick arrows below him are still active despite the fact that he broke the middle of it.
How many times can you use the same joke?
That was the other thing with the jokes. The trick arrows were a joke, but they went on for too long. And then there's this joke in the finale of like Hawkeye being stuck in a tree. And instead of just like, oh, he's stuck in the tree for like 3 seconds or something, like, or even a couple seconds, half a minute.
It goes on for 10 minutes.
I don't know if it was fully 10 minutes, but it felt like 10 minutes. And there's this part where he meets a hawk. Ha, ha, ha. Hawkeye meets a hawk between parts because it was so stupid.
But we got that yet.
Yeah, we watched the important scenes and in some of the ones that were not important. Like
with Hawkeye.
In another show, I would have liked most of that confrontation, but then they pull a Martha scene where whistle, and for some reason that changes her entire idea that he killed Black Widow. Spoilers for the Black Widow. She's told by the new Hydra lady or whatever the hell she is, killed your sister, and it's like a picture of Hawkeye. So Yelena thinks that Hawkeye killed Black.
Everybody knows that Hawkeye did not kill her.
But the thing is, nobody knows how she dies. Nobody mentions this. She's not like memorialized as like the one who sacrificed for the Soul Stone. She's just like she died in the universe. So nobody knows how she died. So when Hawkeye and Yelena are fighting, she's like, how did it happen? He goes, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. So how does the whistle make her go, oh, now I believe that you didn't kill her? Instead of like, we literally fought to see who was going to die because one of us has to die in this scene. And it was an emotional scene of them going like, there are many problems with Endgame, but that's one of my favorite scenes in Endgame, which I know we're kind of jumping all over the place right now. But the Netflix shows where it doesn't actually feel connected, but they keep saying they're connected. The four that came out so far, I never watched Loki, so I can't. But the three that I did watch, WandaVision, Hawkeye, and Falcon, I would rank Hawkeye literally the bottom, and I hated WandaVision. I absolutely hated that show, but I would definitely rank WandaVision or Hawkeye below that show because at least WandaVision had the gimmick of like the sitcoms and it was interesting and you wanted to know what was going to happen next. Every episode of Hawkeye, I dreaded watching it, but I was like, I'm already in it. Might as well finish it, at least see where it goes. Maybe the ending will justify all the bull crap that I had to go through.
I actually like it, though, kind of.
Which one? Oh, where Yelena.
Yelena.
That's the other thing. The best parts about the show are not Kate Bishop. They're Yelena and Hawkeye. Because Yelena, she basically tells Kate Bishop, get out of this. You don't need to be in this, kid. It's such an interesting scene because it's one of the first times that she actually feels like a spy instead of like this weird jokey character. She feels like an actual person who went through all the crap that she went through, and she's feels intimidating. Where she sits there and has dinner and she's like, I made mac and cheese. You better sit down and eat it. Like we're having this conversation. Yeah. I know everything about your life. I know you. And if you don't get out of this, you may end up dead, kid.
Yeah, I've been that same way. I think the thing is, the first thing of episode 5, when she goes in the bathroom.
I love the parts of the shows where they address the name, but the blip where Yelena like the beginning of the episode starts with Yelena and one of the other Black Widows going to like free another Black Widow. So they break into her house. This seems kind of dumb though, because they pull a gun on her even though they're supposed to be freeing her. They free her. Yelena. They talk about Natasha's family. Like Natasha, Yelena needs a break, so she goes to the bathroom. And as she's washing her hands, like she pulls it up, she gets dusted, and then when she gets reintroduced, like you back, and then the room itself, watching her have to realize that 5 years has passed and that she has no idea what the world's like anymore.
Yep,
was pretty cool.
Yep,
probably the best scene in the show. Next, either that or the part where Clint has to call his son after he loses his hearing aid.
That was emotional.
Because so they addressed that like Hawkeye lost his hearing because of all the things that he's been through, all the explosions, all the concussions that he's gotten. He's lost hearing, so he has a cochlear implant in his left ear, and he uses it in the episode 4 during the fight when they're escaping Echo and the Tracksuit Mafia. And so he's calling his son, and he can't really hear him, and he's trying to talk to him. And this is one of the parts where I actually liked Kate, because she's writing down what his son is saying so that he can respond to the best of his ability. It's actually one of the best scenes with Kate. It's actually one of the only scenes that I actually like with Kate, because she actually felt necessary to the scene, because she actually had a purpose. She wasn't just like this weird civilian who's being dragged into the underworld and Hawkeye's letting her come with him. And she felt like an actual character who cared, who had emotions, and wasn't some entitled kind of whiny brat. Yeah. All like I said, all the scenes with Hawkeye, where Hawkeye's with his family, they might not be written well, but I don't really care. They're emotional, and with a show that already has a lot of logical problems, they're the best parts of the show.
Yeah. I mean, you said that New York is dumb.
In the final season or the final episode, there's there's a part where Yelena runs down a building and shoots like 5 bullets, and there are people who run towards Yelena. And I'm like, no, if someone's shooting, you always run away. No idiot's going to run towards the person who just ran down a building with a gun currently shooting it. And then there's I have to address this. There's this weird LARPing subplot where he it's just,
they were probably 17 moments where I said, why?
Like he goes to I think the episode 2 or episode 2. Yeah, he goes to Central Park because the Ronin suit ends up in the hands of a LARPer.
Yeah.
He goes to get it back because the suit is at this point it's putting a bullseye in your head and saying, please shoot me.
Yeah.
So he goes to get the LARPing suit. He's Hawkeye. Everyone knows he's Hawkeye. But for some reason he has to pretend to LARP to get the suit. And then he gets the suit after some weird, supposedly comedy moments, but honestly was just cringy. And I was just waiting for it to end. He meets the guy who has a suit. He pretends to lose to him. He gets the suit back. And then he has them in his apartment. Basically, he even has them on the mission in the final episode with like earpieces. They allow him to make a suit for him and Kate Bishop. Like he's literally they're literally part of his whole team, and it makes no sense. It's the continuation of putting civilians in harm's way, which makes no sense for who Hawkeye is. You want to get into the weird character. Hawkeye is supposed to be this complete badass who has he cracks jokes because he did it in Age of Ultron. We're in a flying city with robots and I'm a guy with bow and arrow kind of thing.
Yeah.
So but then he acts like an idiot in the show with Kate Bishop and these civilians. Like he literally brings in civilians into a highly hostile environment with guns and people. There's many moments in the show where he feels a lot weaker than he should be. Like I think there's 2 fight scenes where I was like, why is Hawkeye having trouble beating this one person? Like he is equally trained as Black Widow is in combat. He is supposed to be he's an assassin, just like Black Widow.
Elite level,
yeah, he's an elite level, capable of standing with the Avengers on high level threats, and he's fighting one of the Tracksuit Mafia's guy. I think his name is Kazi, and he's not losing, but he's not winning. It's just like there's this weird standstill.
Yeah. So
honestly, that's pretty much all I have on the show.
That's all I got too.
At least for now. I would. It's a little scatterbrained, but
yeah.
The show's so dumb. My brain stopped computing.
To watch it again.
Oh God, you have fun with that. I'm not doing that.
I can't do. People coming down. What you think down below? And have a good night. Bye.
Bye.